And so, I'm not necessarily asking for a raise, when you guys are looking at this. Tim would have told me to put it on the agenda and would like it to be, looked at. And everywhere in the state of Montana, a department head is a department head. Whether you are the clerk treasurer or you are public works, a department head makes the same amount of money as another department head.
That's correct. And we have 2 department heads here. So, Mark, I think what's his 18, 19, or 20?
I don't know, I'm not asking for that, but I'm just letting everyone.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not even asking for.
But as a department head, it's important to receive compensation in order to, especially here, to keep them.
I understand what you're saying. I guess, here's some of my views. Number one, when we compare Bridger to us, we're comparing apples to oranges. It just doesn't even size up. Population-wise, billing aspects, items like that. Now, probably the closest out of here, because I checked on populations, went through, did some other deals on here and stuff like that. Then you get into the Bainville deal, you know, and you're in totally a different economic type deal. So, and I'm just gonna give you the ins and the outs of what I found out. So, what is your water billing a month? How many residents do you bill?
Isn't it 252, I think?
I bet you it's less than that.
It's
I bet it's tip to tail.
240,
240, okay.
240
So
something.
Joliet is probably your closest one at 297. I have talked to Amber. Amber did start out at $12 an hour. She had 4 days worth of training. I will have you know, when the other clerk walked out and left her, she has never had any in-house help whatsoever. She has done it on her own. She had been there 4 months, made it through an audit, has made every budget on time, has only had 2 years, in 9 years, she's only had 2 years that it was an audit review, the rest were actual audits that she's had to deal with. I'm thinking most people here are the same way. I don't have a problem giving a cost of living raise and or when things are put in place, giving raises, when they are done right. I don't have a problem with it.
That's why I
But-
proposed,
But I don't wanna get tied into something that I'm signing off on and somebody isn't there overseeing it. And then somebody's going to be giving raises just because there's a resolution written. I work at a school. I can guarantee you what, I've worked there, worked at public places, and every year it's based on what the budget brings in as to the percentage of the amount of raises that they can give. And I mean, they've been extremely, in the last few years, this is just to give you an idea, hardly. I did see astronomical raises given to 2 men, and here's why. Because when they could save the school system $50,000, you give those raises. You don't ever want to short those people because you want to keep them. But I don't like being, myself personally, don't like being tied in on something that, here's a prime example. The first time, 6 years ago, you guys got caught and we were gonna do a budget, we find out we have 14 years worth of books not reconciled. And you've given those people raises without, and I don't like that, not having that safety net, that's me.
One of my issues that I look at is it's very hard to get somebody to come to work for the town of Fromberg. You know, we were fortunate when Harley put in an application. I think there was 1 or 2 other people that put in an application. And Harley was the best out of those applications. It was the same with Mark, because when Jay and Lacey quit, they quit at the same time, which left us here without anything. And it's hard to get somebody in to do that. They get online, they see everything that goes on in the town of Fromberg, they read all the negative stuff, and they don't want to be a part of that. You know, people get to pick and choose where they wanna go. I mean, as a clerk, she could've went to work down in Laurel and made a whole lot more money than she's making here. Mark can turn around and go down to work at Laurel and make $10, $15 more every hour than what he's making here. But to be in the town of Fromberg, because there's nothing really to attract you here. We've got a good insurance policy. And we've got a lot of work. But that's what I'm just saying, it's hard to keep good people. And it's just, we have to pay them well in order to keep them. If we don't, we're gonna lose them.
I don't have a
That's
problem, I don't have a problem with paying them well, but we still got Lacey and Kirsten in here working.
Yeah.
And I'm not
And
downplaying
it's
you
not
hardly
on you.
whatsoever. But if you're talking about giving her a raise, but we still got two other people coming in doing her job.
Well, I'm hoping that very soon, because we have the other two people coming in here, we're gonna get this stuff caught up so that it's not gonna be a full-time job for two people to keep up with this stuff and try to keep it. That's why it's important when people come into the office to pay their water bill and they talk with the clerk for 2 hours. That takes up her time, and she's very good and tries to be very nice to people to say, hey, I've got work to do, would you please go? And most of them will. But there's some that just come in just to take up their time, and we're in a community where it's important, because a lot of elderly people come in and want to visit a little bit. So it is hard. Mark has explained, you know, he run into that same situation, goes down and works on somebody's water line. Well, they want to stand there and talk to him for 6 hours. And it's tough, because he's got other things on the agenda to get done, that he has to get done. And when you start telling people, sorry, I don't have the time, then they get angry and they go say bad things online. And then nobody else wants to come. But if we don't pay them well, we're not gonna keep qualified people.
I
Yes.
really resent you saying that the town of Fromberg, because of what's online, the town of Fromberg has had a bad reputation for a long time. You haven't helped it a bit with some of the stuff that's happened. And I'll be the first to stand up and say so. And there's an art to get rid of people, and I realize that she's very young, and sometimes I have trouble. But the biggest art is, I can't talk anymore because I promised I'd get this done to my boss.
Yeah.
And if you gotta say it in the right tone and do it, and that's what
You're
there's
faced
few.
with the same issues.
Yeah, but I don't have much problems with him.
No, they leave when you tell them.
Well,
Okay.
It still boils down to though, we've gotta have a budget and balance books before we can start doling out money.
Which I 100% agree.
100% whether, I mean, in my honest opinion, our spending right now ought to be down to, unless it's an emergency and for our actually covered bills that we've gotta do, until we get this budget balance and stuff like this, my honest opinion, I think everything needs to stop right now.
Well, it's been a priority to get the budget done.
Well, and I understand that, and I'm sure
That's
I'll be
why
involved in it now.
That's why Christian's been coming in to get, to work on it. And we pay her well to do that.
She's worth every penny.
Yeah,
Yes,
she is. She is very good. Yes.
How long has Harley been a clerk here? When was she hired?
Since April 20, the last week of April on a Monday.
Of 23?
Yeah.
So we've been,
And
She's come into it and she went to school right off the bat. And been trying to get the budget, as we know, working. So, it hasn't been a fun deal. But the books weren't balanced.
It seemed like, correct me if I'm missing something, but it seemed like more and more responsibility she's been accepting and doing pretty good, as far as I understand, handling everything.
She has. Every day is a different challenge in the clerk's office. Because every day it's a different problem.
Yeah,
Not only does she have to deal with the budget, but she has to deal with the people concerned about the budget. They have to, everybody that comes in has an issue, usually with a water bill or a sewer bill, and we have to get online, and I'll tell you right now, the software that we have to do that, I would like to throw it away and start over, but I think we pay, Black Mountain, we pay a lot every year for it, we paid a lot to get it. And it's just, it's a very hard program to work. And I don't like it myself. I
I
don't,
would rather work physically than I would mentally,
oh yes,
paperwork and everything.
I would, she is faced with
It's a pain in the rear end.
all kinds of different things. That's why I would like to see her receive the same amount of money as a department head,
I was
as
just gonna
our-
bring that up.
maintenance guy.
Well, did
So
she
she
not
is
just get a
actually,
raise in June?
Pardon?
Did she not just get a raise in June? She was hired at the end of April, you did get a raise in June?
Yeah.
And she's been on maternity.
I'm not opposed
I
to
know.
it, I'm just, like I said, my issue is that we don't have a balanced books or balanced budget.
So
Where
we
are
think
we
this is
coming up
something
with
that we
money?
need to wait until we get the budget going? Another month to,
Well, I think we need to know where we're sitting for our budget.
I think we need to know
Plain
where
and
we're
simple.
sitting for our budget, and I think we need to hold off here for a while. Here's my deal. You know, we did have a clerk that was making that. That left her with books that weren't done. And you, Tim, came and I was at the meeting when you gotta give them a raise. And if you
Yeah.
don't have books and we don't have assurances, to give you an example, I do know when I talked to Amber the other day in Joliet, books are reconciled monthly. She was behind 2 months, but everybody at that council knew she was behind because she's in the middle of working on 2 grants. Plus, get this, she works 32 hours a week. Not 40, 32.
She worked at home at all?
No, she works in the office 32 hours a week
Oh, where
and
they
water
at?
bills 50 more residents than what we do. So, apples, oranges.
You got a question?
Yeah, besides the budget, if I'm not,
Can you state your name first?
oh, my name is Carl Hergenreiter. Besides the budget, I'm pretty sure if you guys pull out your ordinances, there have been resolutions in increasing the wages per the cost of living. However, if I'm not mistaken, and I looked at them 3 months ago, that hasn't been done for over 6 years. Before you start increasing that, and you get your balance, you balance your books and you look at that, you guys need to look at your ordinances and your resolutions and go through that and do it the proper way. I work a job where I get 1 raise every year. It is based on my performance at work. The max in which you can get is a 5% raise. Not even the CEO of the company gets that, and I work for a nonprofit health organization. Okay? The other thing is that with that being said, where I work, my starting wage is different because the cost of living is different. Even though I'm a remote worker here, because of the company that I work for, the starting wage was different. When I applied for the city clerk position 4.5 years ago, or 6 years ago, I can't remember, it was right when you and Shirley Miller were there. You guys were starting off at $14 an hour. You had somebody who applied who wanted $18 an hour, came with a degree and years of experience. But at that time, our budget didn't allow for that. So if our budget didn't allow for that 6 years ago, and we haven't looked at the cost of living or anything else, you guys don't have anything in place in your ordinances for raises either.
and I agree, the ordinances are very vague when it comes to pay increases. That's why we're looking at doing something different, a new resolution to.
We're getting an ordinance
Make this
group
work.
in. There are plenty of people who would absolutely love to help review the ordinances so the city council can be on the same page. And everything above board and on books and done the right way. I'm not saying that Harley doesn't deserve the raise. She does her work, right? And there are some things that got dropped on her that probably shouldn't have. But at the same point, can we just check all the boxes down the list before we get to okay and everything?
Well, I feel
Let's go ahead, Bob.
So I just wanna ask a question here of Harley. Is making any headway on catching up with the books?
Yes, me and Kirsten have been working, she got sick, so we were hoping to actually get them finished before Christmas. And she got sick, so we weren't able to finish them. And then, we worked on Sunday. We got some other work done so we could have our fire relief, stuff done. Cause that, like, I've never been showed the program, I've never been really taught the program, I've never really been trained. You know, when Lacey was done with her job, she was done with her job. She did not want to be in here anymore.
That's a learning progress.
And so, me, pretty much, I'm just now getting the training from her for the simple reason of me begging her to come back in. And we have made a friendship to where she will come back in.
Well, progress is being made, but I see,
Yes.
I'm in favor of giving
basically-
the lady a raise.
You and me both, but I move to table clerk's wages till at least the final books get in. We know where we're at, everybody's at, and move forward after that. 'Cause I mean, obviously the merit is there, it's deserving, but I mean, we need to know what we can actually offer that's not gonna screw everybody over.
Yeah.
That's what I stand.
So you've made a motion?
I'll second it.
When are we going to,
I would say pending on the results of books when everything's in.
next meeting, depending on votes?
Yeah, we can revisit it as long as everything's there.
Okay. So who seconded it? You did.
So what are we gonna do, gonna table it?
We're gonna table it till the books are complete. We have a motion
When
and a
will that
second.
be?
Pardon?
How long will that be?
Just till, I mean, it'll be one of those things that we'll revisit it when it's finished.
We're gonna table it till the next meeting, pending the outcome of the books being completed. Hopefully within the next week or two. If it's not, then we will have to retable it. We have a motion and a second to table the clerk's wages until pending the outcome of the books being balanced.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't wanna see the lady walk.
Agreed.
I don't either.
I mean, she's great help. If she was to walk
That's
out
not the
here, we'd
plan.
be in worse shape than we are now. That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking at. And we're trying to make progress here.
I agree. I agree.
There was a second and a vote, or a second, and- there was a
Motion
motion
and a
and a
second.
second, should there be a vote?
All in favor? All opposed? We have one nay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. It just makes sense to me.
Yes.
I ran across that and people I used to hire.
Yes. Okay, Fromberg fire payment. Harley has all that information and she will explain it. Yeah. I don't know if everybody's aware, but a certain amount of the taxes that come in are, a percentage of that goes to the fire department. Then it comes to the town, and then the town gives that percentage to the fire department.
So, I've already talked to Tim about this, you guys can take a look at it down here. So, I have everything color coded. So purple is when it was paid in 2019 to 320, and that was the amount that was paid out. 420 to 620, and then, because it won't cross financial years on the computer, so I had to print out 2 of them. So, it was those two added together, which was your payment. And 21, that was your guys' payment there, $3,613. And then on 2/21 to 6/21 was $2,269. And in 7/21 to 4/22, there was $6,877 paid. There was two separate checks, so you guys got double paid. And so there was an overage amount,
What year was that?
7/21 to 4/22, which is right here, which is an overpayment, which is the adjustment made. And so you guys were in the hole $1,990.77 as of 6/23.
Can you explain this to the rule board secretary?
I have not had contact with
Christie.
her, no. Mm-mm.
I'll have her contact you.
Yeah, which is perfect. And so,
She's the one who takes care of, she's our rule
Oh,
board
okay.
secretary.
okay, yeah, and so,
This is all rule, this all belongs to the rule board, this has nothing, the firemen, we see none of this.
okay, so, we had to go back and we had to fix some tax vouchers and stuff like that in our system. And so that actually made the payment go up a little bit more because they weren't being put in correctly, so then it wasn't coming back through and stuff. And so the payment owed right now is $7,347.78. And that was with the, because when I got in here and when you guys first asked, it was that negative number. And so I'm like, can't pay something that we don't have.
Well,
But then when we went back through and fixed the books, then this is the amount that had
there's
come out.
two different accounts now. This is the fire tax, but you also have the relief association,
And that hasn't been paid.
and that has not been paid.
See,
That, the relief association's a completely separate deal from this.
I'm just learning
I know.
about this, so,
But
and this is what Kirsten.
this is what Kelly was telling you about in June. That's the one Kelly was talking to you about, was the relief association, not the fire tax money.
Okay,
See, they're behind.
I found out
their
the fire
books.
tax money just from our rule board secretary.
okay,
And that's all, that's the only reason I brought it up, because that hadn't been, but the Fire Relief Association, and I have no idea, nobody can say how, it's a fund that was set up by whoever or whatever, but this money goes into this account, we can't even touch this, this money is for if a fireman is injured or killed, and I've threatened all my firemen, if they get injured or killed, the paperwork I have to go through is phenomenal
yeah,
to fill this out to get this money, and that's the only time that money can even be touched, but this is, that goes through the state
Just one.
and the state auditor and whatever that has to be filed. That's a complete separate from this.
Okay.
So you guys basically received two different types of funds at the
Well,
city.
the rule board receives this fund, this is what she's talking about,
Yeah.
and then, we receive, the fireman side receives this relief association.
okay,
And that's a state operated deal?
It all comes when you guys get the money in March or whenever, when it comes in, that money's supposed to leave earmarked for both the fire, this X amount goes to the fire department, this X amount goes to the relief association.
okay, I did not know that. I will, work on getting that and figuring that out.
Yeah, because they had to contact the state, but
See,
we don't have money.
Kelly has to send in an audit every year. She has to send a report with
Well,
this,
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I didn't
with this
know
thing
about
in
it.
there, and she contacted the state, knowing that you were, she said you know, and she contacted the state, and evidently, you already talked to these same people.
Mhm.
Because they already said, yeah, Fromberg is in a big mess, yeah, we know that, but what do? She has to fill out this report. When Kelly took over these books, she got audited right off the bat when she took over these, and she come to find out that this relief association money was put into, well, 1 year it went to the rule board, 1 year it went to the firemen, 1 year it went here, whatever like this. Well, when they audited her and we found out about this, it ended up costing, the firemen ended up, The fireman ended up coughing up $2,000 and some dollars. The rule board ended up costing like $3,000 or $4,000 to put back into this fund. It's money that
Okay.
we cannot touch.
Okay. And so is that sent to Kelly?
Yes.
Okay. I will get that information and I will give you a call.
Okay, is this something that we need to discuss at the next meeting? Or can we
Just
get this worked
update
out?
if it's paid.
Just an
Update?
update or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't, there's
update.
nothing really to discuss. I mean, she has to, wherever in the books, they have to get it. And like I said, I have no idea.
It's just something to keep an eye out on, because I think it was, 6 years ago or something like that, Kristen discovered there was like 5 years that they hadn't been paid or something like that. It was a huge deal. Yeah, and people were fighting mad.
So,
So it's something that needs to be done yearly. Did we pay the fire department in April?
Okay, if there's nothing else in for that, on the fire payment, let's go on to the next item. Amendments on water sewer project soil boring. Just to let everybody know, we're still going forward with the water project and the sewer project. However, came out last week or 2 weeks ago, and we're looking at digging test holes for soil, so that they knew what they were getting into as they were boring and digging. Well, pretty much every test hole they were digging with a backhoe was filled with water. So what they're
you
looking
were
at
talking about digging over here with the sewer lines coming
the
across?
sewer line, and over here with the new water line here and up here, and the new water line's going down, Minesburg Loop. They want test holes there. So what they're looking at now is coming and vacuuming out, digging holes with a vac to try to get the samples that they need to do that, which is an added cost. Every time we turn around with this project, we're getting hit with the costing more money. There's money in the funds to pay for it, but it's just another delay.
So you using the backing or you boring?
They're drilling. SK brought their drill rig out today and drilled.
Their
test
core
pit
drill.
1. Yeah, they drilled test pit 1, 3, and 4. 5 the locates were crap, and 2 they had to get permission from landowner.
But just let you guys know where we're at with that project. Hopefully they'll be ongoing this spring to replace that water line. Then put a redundant water line underneath the highway. And to replace the sewer line.
Hopefully that sewer line gets taken care of. We're on borrowed time.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very much so.
Been on borrowed time for quite some time with that sewer line.
Because the
This whole
Swiss cheese
state's
is
starting to
holding
crumble
up.
up from underneath itself, getting too old and then might come back.
Yeah. Any other comments about the water,
So do we
water
need,
sewer project?
do we need to do
Do we have to
No, it's
amend
just-
that because of the cost or not?
The additional cost is added into their
Okay,
contract.
okay, just update.
It's just an update.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
Yep, just wanted everyone to be aware of it.
That's where we're at with it, and
Unfortunately.
as continued, as you're probably more aware of working in the industry, that every time you turn around.
Well, beware, change orders are killer.
So, okay, last on the agenda is lease of town property. We have this 40 acres up here that we need to advertise and get somebody to lease it, so we have some money coming in off of it.
I understand what you're saying, but here's the deal. We've had, 2 inches of snow. It is dry land. I mean, if we advertise this and we have no grass on it, I mean, can we kick it down the road a while here and see if we get some moisture? If we don't have grass on it, there's no sense in leasing it. I mean,
Let me, the process will be, I need you guys to figure out how much we're gonna ask for it,
okay,
and then we have to advertise it, bring the bids in, and then we'll look at it. We will look at it and decide which bid we're gonna take. So you're looking at 2 months?
Is this gonna be like a yearly bid or lease, or are you gonna do
Well,
a
that's-
long-term lease, or
that's-
what are we?
I don't know, I would like to have a long-term lease, that somebody would pay the town something,
But
so that we can put it in the general fund.
Is that a flat land?
Pardon?
No, it's
No,
not.
not really.
No, it's not.
It kinda goes into the hills, and some of it's flat,
Some of it goes like this.
some of it,
I don't know, I haven't been there.
And there's
some of it's been a buried landfill.
And you can't till
What
it.
would be good for it?
Grazing, the only thing we can
Grazing
do.
cattle or grazing horses, and it's.
We can't till it.
Okay, let's
Okay.
keep it to one person at a time here.
I'm sorry.
It's-
Is there zoning on it now? What do you mean?
No,
No.
no, it's outside of town here. It was
It's
a
outside of
landfill,
town.
and you can't turn it because it was a dump. And so then here's the deal. If
Where I live.
there's enough
Don't
grass.
like dump.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Kenny.
If there's enough grass on it, we can lease it, but here's the deal, if there's not enough grass on it, I hate to waste the money advertising it, and then you can't lease it.
Well, the thing is that not everyone is gonna lease it to put horses on. I broke my foot up there 7 years ago, and the people that I worked for had it leased. There was not enough for 2 cows on it at that
Mhm.
point. Mostly would be probably a staging area, to park campers or something like that up there. But as for like a livestock lease, there's not enough grass up there to even keep 1 cow happy.
That's one thing
So-
is, yeah.
That's it. We got time, because like you say,
Yeah.
that we need to have it leased or somebody advertised so that when spring gets here, and these people are out looking, cause most of these people start looking, February, March for springtime use.
I think we should all agree on what are certain things we'd like to see on it, I guess, and what we wouldn't allow as well.
Yeah, yeah, that'd
Are
be a
we
good thing.
still under limitations on it?
That I don't know.
Is what?
Are we still under the limitations that we've always been under? You can't turn it, you can't dig on it, you can't do.
There's 5 acres and we can't do anything with
It's pretty
And
much
do
a
you know
parking
where the
spot.
5 acres are located at?
it. They've got a fence around it.
Do they have a fence around it?
Yeah, but whether it's any good or not, I don't know.
But, okay, so there's the 5 acres you can't do, so you can still do whatever on the other side.
Yes,
You can still turn it, do whatever you need to do up in there, you can dig in it.
well, if you avoid the pipelines, maybe electrical line that goes through there, there's 2 pipelines and electrical line. So, yes,
So I guess my question is why do we keep it?
well, and that has been an option to sell it.